What up, guys? Welcome to the chop shop, or welcome to the cab of my truck. First and foremost, I do have an episode all recorded. I just have to edit it, get it out to you guys. I'm hoping to get that out to you here in the next couple days. I have just been on the road all week. But just kind of thought maybe I would ask your guys' opinion on some things. As I mentioned in a couple previous episodes, I had my 289 heads at the machine shop for 5 weeks and then couldn't get a hold of them, no return phone calls, blah, blah, blah. Finally swing by and they just told me they couldn't source a set of oversized valves for those heads. So I got annoyed and took them to another machine shop. They said they would have everything done for me by in a couple weeks, which is fine, not necessarily in a hurry. And then they call me and tell me that they can, older valves, but the heads are kind of in rough shape. So obviously they're going to need milled, the valves need cut, new valves ordered, valve guides, blah, 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 blah. Long story short, they think they're going to have approximately $1,400 in these heads between parts and labor. At which point in time, I should just go aluminum heads. In fact, the very same machine shop, so they give me a set of Flotex, I believe, which is like an entry-level aluminum head for around $1,200. And that's really got me thinking, if I go that route, am I going to slap a set of aluminum heads on an otherwise stock bottom end, which is fine. Maybe it's just me that's an issue for, is slapping a decent set of heads on just a boring, bogus bottom end. I don't know. Now keep in mind, I'm not in a hurry to do the engine. In fact, the engine should be the last thing I do because I'm going to do many, many things to Sandy. So in theory, that's going to be the last thing that she needs is her engine done. So, that being said, I've kind of got it down to 4 options. And also keep in mind that this was supposed to be just like a cheap, run-of-the-mill, bottom dollar engine that made more power than the last one, but wasn't anything fancy. It just needed to last me until I decided what I wanted to do next, because I'm kind of bored. In fact, I pretty much never go to car shows or anything anymore, just because it's so much of the same shit. When you go, you see Coyote swaps, LS swaps, and then you normally see the big 3 small blocks, basically. You see the small block Ford, small block Chevy, small block Mopar, some big blocks mixed in here and there, but primarily that's all you really see. So it's kind of boring, which makes me want to do something oddball, even if it's an FE or 400M, or maybe even a Cleveland. I feel like I never see Clevelands or 400Ms. My buddy is also sitting on a 331 Hemi, which I know would cost me out the ass to build, but would also be super dope to pop the hood of Sandy and see an old school Hemi. But yeah. Anyway, so I guess my 4 options I'm thinking is A, super bottom of the barrel, bang this thing back together. I have all the parts for the most part to do the short block. So do I build the short block 40 over flat tops and then just take the marine engine heads, drop them off at the machine shop, have them cleaned to deck, lap the valves, bang it back together, and just enjoy that engine until I decide what I really, really want to do? Option 1. Option 2, build that same short block. Again, 40 over, flat tops, stock, crank, rods, aluminum heads, gnarly cam. Option 2. Option 3, if I'm going to cough up the money to actually buy a set of aluminum heads, do I spend a little bit of extra cheddar and maybe buy better rods and pistons? Factory style rods and crank, because the Fox bodies and whatnot came with factory forged components, and you can scoop them up for cheap. So I'm thinking $600-700 I could have forged rods, cranks, the crank, and with those aluminum heads, and that engine would not necessarily make more power, but last longer. And I guess option 3B of that would be actually investing in maybe a 331 or a 347 stroker kit. You know, you're $600 to, let's say, $1,400 between those two options. And then option 4 would be just to get rid of everything I have, because I think I have pretty much everything to assemble that short block. The cranks polished, turned under, the blocks machined, ready to go. I've got the flat top pistons. I've got main bearings. I've got rings. I've got everything. I've got ARP bolts and everything. So potentially, I could sell that block, that crank, all the parts that I have to build that bottom end, as well as I'm sure that marine engine is probably of use to somebody. You know, the rods, crank, pistons are all still good in that thing. I wouldn't advise using the block in it because it's full of shit. But I mean, that's still a perfectly good rotating assembly, as well as a good set of heads. So I could use that money, at very least, use it to buy the new platform of whatever oddball engine that I would choose to build. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. Do we go option 1, absolute bottom dollar, bang this thing back together? Option 2, bang it back together, bottom dollar, with aluminum heads. Option 3, aluminum heads, forged bottom end, whether it be a stroker or not, just some better components so I can continue to abuse it relentlessly the way that I do, and it maybe not die right away. Option 4, ditch everything that I have and invest the time and the money into a cooler, more unique, different engine. And again, I'm not even set on it being a Ford engine necessarily. Nothing new. I don't want an LS, a Coyote, a Godzilla. Anything fuel injected is completely out of the question. Don't even want to hear about it. I'm not even going to listen to your opinion. And it's going to be V8 also. Not into this, unless I would go 4BT. If someone could get me a 4BT Cummins, I would probably go that route. That would be super dope. But again, FE engine, 400M, that Hemi would be super, super dope, but parts can be expensive and sometimes hard to source, as well as that would throw me in a transmission debacle, because I don't know what all you can adapt those to if I'm going to be stuck to old 50s technology as far as the transmission goes. I haven't looked yet. I don't know, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Don't be afraid to leave me a long comment down there on your different opinion on options and everything. Again, I may or may not listen. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas. I have been in this truck for 4 days straight, so I've had some time to think, and I have yet to figure out anything on what I want to do. I feel like the more that I think, the more I complicate things. End of the day, all I really, really want is a big old Roots supercharger sitting on top of something, which makes me want to just buy some better, makes me want to go the forged factory castings, the Fox body style rods, pistons, and slap that supercharger on it. That would be a fairly priced option to beef up the bottom end of that 302 and handle a little bit of boost. But I don't know, guys. Again, let me know what you think, what you would do, and I will have a normal video coming out to you guys here in a couple days. So, deuces.